Hi, I am ThatPaulGuy, and it's Thursday. Thursday, November 21st, 2019, and first thing I gotta say is thank you for putting up with me while I've been trying to recover from a spider bite. As it turns out, it was more than likely a brown recluse. It was either that or a scorpion. Pretty sure it's a brown recluse because of the way that the bite reacted and festered and stuff like that. So the main illness and everything is gone. Now we're just dealing with the wound itself, trying to keep it clean and covered and make sure that there's no infection there. So I'm feeling probably a good 90-95%. I've been trying to get back into the swing where I was getting back to doing 2 videos a week. That hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it will by this weekend. Like I said, I do have some ideas, some videos, so hopefully we can get things going and back up to speed and full steam ahead. So let's hope. Thursdays are my opportunity to give you guys news on space and tech and gaming and whatever else comes up. And even though there's been a lot of stuff coming up, I'm still going to kind of filter it down and give you a couple of short stories in each section. So we're going to start you out with space. Recently, actually yesterday, SpaceX had a test on the Starship Markup 1, or the MK1 as they call it, and it blew through that test quite literally. It was a pressure test to pressurize the rocket itself from the inside out, because basically when you go up into space, you're going to have higher pressure inside than you are outside. And it failed miserably, blowing the entire top off of the entire MK1. It looks like instead of going back and trying to repair the rocket itself, they're just going to redesign the prototype and then rebuild and see where that takes us. Don't know if they're going to use the same body shell or something like that and just redesign the top portion, or what they might do, but they are going to go ahead and just redesign the prototype and go from there. So I don't know if it really sets anything back. It was one of the expected outcomes, obviously not the preferred outcome, but it was expected, so it wasn't out of the realm of what they were thinking might happen, but it did. And I'll go ahead and leave a link to the video. It was pretty interesting. It's not a close-up, it's a little bit further away, but it is a pretty interesting shot. So the Russian Commercial Space Agency, well, the Russian Space Agency commercial division, they, like us, are trying to make sure that we can launch rockets and everything from our own soil. Currently, we're not even able to do that. They are able to at least use their rockets, but they're using a launch facility out of Kazakhstan, which is a nearby country. The goal is to have an actual spaceport, a commercial spaceport, in Russian territory in the eastern part of the country. Now, the Vostochny, I hope I'm saying that right, the Vostochny facility is in eastern Russia, and it has suffered quite a few setbacks and quite a few delays. What is now turned into a $5 billion project has had some delays, and part of that has had to do with corruption and theft. They have found out that probably close to $200 million worth of theft has gone on and corruption, and this has led to about a dozen arrests, including some of the people in charge of the project. So they've got their own problems over there, but they are hoping to have the spaceport open by 2021, and they too hope to be sending manned missions from their own soil in the very, very near future. Until then, both Americans and Russians are still going to be using Russian rockets out of Kazakhstan until both sides are able to get their poo-poo together and figure things out. But major corruption and big problems over there, and it really, really shows it's hard to figure out who to trust. Even when you got top officials in very sensitive places that you think should have their stuff together and should be going well. In tech news, Apple is once again producing products, actually building products here in the United States. They've begun production on the Apple Mac Pro, affectionately also known as the cheese grater. The Mac Pro is the high-end, or I guess you could almost call it enthusiast type build. It's going to set you back about $6,000. Very high-end type computer. It will be a workstation, editing station, that type of thing. It is more for your high-end user, but they are beginning to do production or ramp up production there in the facility in Austin, Texas. What is also interesting about this is they've also broken ground on a new facility that's going to be about 3 million square feet and use about 5,000 employees that should be open by 2022, I believe it is. Apple is very happy about this. Of course, the American government's really happy about this. American business is really happy about this. But a lot of people said, hey, you can't do it. Apple's not going to be able to do it. They won't be able to be profitable. But I mean, you know, I don't know how much profit there is in their $6,000 machine. But when you're selling a machine like that and you've got people that are buying a machine like that, you can afford to produce it pretty much wherever you want if you've got the material and the space and the manpower. So good for Apple. Way to go. Along with manufacturing, one other thing to bring along to you is Ford has announced an electric Mustang. They're going to call it the Mustang Mach-E, and it is an SUV. That's right, an SUV. And I'm embarrassed to even admit that to you, and I'm moving on to the next story. So, in gaming news, the Google Stadia launched the other day on the 19th. Yay. This, quite frankly, has really, you know, Google is very, very powerful, and they've got a lot of things going for them. They've got Chrome, and they've got, you know, a fantastic business suite that's in use, and they've got all kinds of stuff like Gmail and everything else, and all these moving parts and phones and the Android system and all that. And then they go and they put out something like Stadia that who knows if people really want this anyway, but there are issues with people trying to log on. There are issues with people trying to get the actual Chromecast and the Pro setup and all that stuff. There are people that once they even do that are trying to figure out how to download the app that is required to be able to sign into your Google account, a separate Google account to activate your Stadia. As it turns out, this in a lot of cases is only available or only being able to be activated on a Google Pixel phone. So the thought process of being able to play on a regular Android phone appears not to be true. If you are trying to play on a PC, you still are not able to activate it in a Chrome browser on your PC. Evidently, you still have to have some form of Google Pixel phone to activate this on the app. And it is just, it's really just, I would say, short of a dumpster fire, if not an actual dumpster fire. The people that have been able to go ahead and get on and log on have experienced problems with lag, and especially in first-person shooters and stuff like that. And to make it short and sweet, Google has just really, if there's just something worse than dropping the ball, this is it. And maybe dumpster fire was the best thing to describe it after all, but Google has really just kind of, for something that they insist that everybody wants, they sure made it very, very difficult for people to get and impossible to play on. So I am not one of the early adopters. I did not even go for this. I sat back, and especially as some of you already know, moved over to PC gaming. And even though this is a platform that can be used in PC on the Chrome browser, I stayed away from it until I could see what was going on. And so far, I'm not convinced that it's 120 frames per second at 4K, and you can't make me think it is. So anyway, Google Stadia on the 19th, thud. Good news though, if you're a Half-Life fan, Half-Life is back, sort of. Half-Life Alyx has been released by Valve, which is the company that owns Steam, so you should be able to get it on Steam. But there's a little caveat. It is a VR only, and that means that you have to have a VR headset. Oh, by the way, Valve does sell they do sell VR headsets, so you're probably in luck if you want to do that. It's not really a Half-Life 3. It's more like a Half-Life 1.5. It's set in between Half-Life and Half-Life 2. So, but it is a full-length adventure game put out by Valve. It's the first one they've done in quite a while. And so, hey, at least we got gameage back from Valve again, and that's where they kind of started. So we'll see what happens. Half-Life itself and Half-Life 2 were very, very good games. We'll see how this goes, but as yet, I don't have a VR headset either, so I won't be testing that out anytime soon. I'll have to wait for some reviews. Anyway, I know it's a little bit short and sweet. I apologize for that, but like I said, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, and we're going to give it a go at that. So, as always, folks, you're welcome to share, subscribe. Please do subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100 by the end of the year. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave me any kind of comments, well wishes, glad you're all right. Who cares? Who missed you anyway? Whatever the case may be, leave me something. I'll take any of it. And that's all I got for right now. I will honestly try to get something going this weekend. I got a guest coming into town. Hi, Amy. So I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to do a video on over the weekend or until after, but we'll try to get something up before Thanksgiving. And of course, on Thanksgiving Day, it is going to be Thursday, so I'm going to post an It's Thursday then too. So anyway, that's all I got for right now. So until hopefully over the weekend, that's it. So I'll see you later.